Good day everyone, and today we're going to be talking about a mini webcomic called Lovelypeople. So, there's a comic that's been going around a lot of Solarpunk threads, and it makes a lot of commentary. The one on the Solarpunk threads is heavily edited, and I will note that I'm unaware who has edited it without the little text box at the beginning and without the religious notes on the end. This is of course by Minna Sundberg. I don't know if Minna Sundberg is editing it for the Solarpunk threads or if someone else is doing that, so that comes with a little asterisk. The comic is a commentary on a few things. Firstly, it equates Solarpunk and the utopian society of living in harmony with nature and technology and using a lot of renewable resources as some sort of despotic authoritarian 1984 / that episode of the Orville.
Are you serious?
That had a similar sort of approval system. Now, it does, on the unedited one, come with a note saying a comic about bunnies about a social credit system, regardless of your feelings towards a social credit system. This comic, the edited one, hides that quite well. Not in the first few bits because it mentions it a couple of times, but reading it you could really forget about that, and the commentary doesn't come back until later on in the comic. The story is about a family of rabbits, and when reading it you could really think that that's all it's about. It's a family of rabbits who are persecuted for their beliefs. Yes, it's very religious with its undertones, and it's very harsh on communism. Regardless, again, of your thoughts on communism, I don't approve of the message that this comic says, but then again, I don't approve of that sort of credit system, a social credit system. I think that you should not be judged that way, no, at all. But if you do, that's up to you. That's just my personal opinion. Going from that, the religious undertones are rather sneaky. They really are, and the almost authoritarian, despotic view of the government that's never really gone into it's just there, it's everywhere, it interacts with everything, it enables you to buy food, it enables you to live, it enables you to get public transport. This is a system which would be extremely authoritative, and it does a good job of showing that, but it also says and links that with a utopia of environmentalism and a utopia of living in harmony with renewable resources and nature, which I take objective.
What?
That is my main objective. This comic appears in a lot of Solarpunk threads. It's almost as if the person has watched an episode of the Orville and also 1984. They water this down a lot though with the themes and tones, but it's fairly obvious where they got the ideas from. I don't know when this comic was made, but it has appeared a few times in a lot of threads. Now, I normally ignored it because people were usually up on the take and would mark it as a propaganda piece, so I ignored it. However, this one time I decided to read it. Now, am I offended by this? Not really, but then again, I think that everyone has the right to believe whatever they want, and if you choose to believe this comic's message, that's perfectly up to you. However, the way that it's stylized and the way that it's drawn and the details and the artwork are aiming this at a younger audience, and it is very sinister in that regard. I can't say that I enjoyed it, but I can't say that I hated this webcomic or mini comic, but I will say that it had this message and it's very irritating in that regard. The fact that this person obviously took issues with the things that I've talked about is plainly obvious. The story basically details the life of a rabbit family and the recent updates to the transparency of this social quote credit system. They find themselves in more and more trouble for reading the Bible. And I know that there are areas in the world that have issues with religion and want a secular type of lifestyle. But the way that they've done it and the way that the one character tanks their credit store score in the comic itself, simply because they post a load of things on social media and talk about the Bible and stuff like that. It's very obvious that they're making a martyr out of this rabbit family, and they're saying certain things are bad, and they're saying Solarpunk is bad, they're saying social media is bad in some ways, which I can agree with, and they are saying that atheism is bad. They're saying that a secular society is bad. Now, again, you can believe whatever you want to believe. I'm not going to be the morality police of anybody. Least of all, a comic that is obviously aimed at a younger audience.
No.
I will add this. Now, you can stop the video here and you can continue with your day, but these are going to be my final thoughts on the author's notes and the obvious religious overtones of this comic. So if you don't want to hear those, thank you for your time and take care of yourselves. So, oh boy! Look, you can believe whatever you want and you can write whatever you want, but once you put that in the public domain, it has the right to be questioned, it has the right to be taken apart, and it has the right to be explored. This comic in itself is not offensive, however the undertones are deeply offensive. Not to someone who is, let's say, more green thinking, or not to someone who's more questioning their thoughts on capitalism and capitalist society. The fact that people just get a load of gifts just saying that something is good is happening now with certain movies. Whether that's good or bad is up to you. But the whole system that this person employs, the whole thing that Solarpunk is often looked at with a scathing view, this comic does not help that point of view. It really doesn't, and the fact that it irritated me so much to make a video about it, I suppose that she's reached her audience, reached the thing she wanted to do. She wanted people to talk about it, and yet I am talking about it. I would not recommend this comic to anyone, unless you are going to use some of the Solarpunk ideas for Solarpunk, but you can get as much from that as you can from one of the other world building magazines that did a complete issue on Solarpunk world building. So it doesn't give you anything new, but the designs are cute, the rabbit idea is cool, and a lot of other things are interesting. I've put the link to the comic in the description. If you read it and you liked it for whatever reason, please tell me in the comment below. As I said before a couple of times, it's not bad, but it's very sneaky and it has some sinister undertones. Whether the person knows this or planned this, I don't know. Maybe they are very naive and they've just put this idea into a cute comic because they thought it would be cool. But it does seem odd, at least. Anyway, those are just my personal thoughts on Lovelypeople. And I will use the author's description, because why not? They're not hiding it, so why should I? A short graphic novel about rabbits, or bunnies as she calls them, living in a social credit system. This is again by Minna Sundberg, and you can buy the print version on her store. I would not encourage anyone to buy it, to be honest. She does accept feedback though. I won't put her email address here, but you can find it on the linked page below. She wraps up with some final thoughts, which I won't go into very much, but she quotes the Thessalonians at the end, which I think that people focus on parts of something, and that's what they've done. So those are just my final thoughts on it. So I've been Trix everybody, and you've been you, and that's been a rather bizarre webcomic that keeps popping up in Solarpunk threads, and after reading it I thought I should make a video on it. So there we go. We'll be back to manga and stuff in the next one. So take care of yourselves, and bye bye.